First of all, I would like to thank all of you for having invited me here. It is an honor to present things about Open Citations. It is a workshop in a sense that I provide, instead of having the usual presentation of what it is and that's all. So from a policy level, I will present a bit about Open Citation just to set up the ground, and then I will show you operatively some sort of operations as a service that have been made available by the infrastructure to help cytometricians, bibliometricians to use our data in several contexts for running bibliometric analysis, for building applications that make use of citation and these kind of things. First of all, just a very quick presentation. I'm Silvio Peroni. I'm associate professor at the University of Bologna and one of the two directors of Open Citation. Just a confirmation, can you see the slides, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great, thank you. What is Open Citation? So Open Citation has been set up as a fully free and open infrastructure which aims to provide access to scholarly data, in particular bibliographic and citation data, with the aim of reaching the quality and coverage to rival those that are coming from proprietary services like Web of Science and Scopus. What we want to enable as our goals, let's say, is to allow all any institution to get access to their own citation data and bibliographic data without paying any fee. We do not specify any specific license that limit the reuse of our data. All the data that are there are available in CC0. So in principle, you can reuse the data for any purpose without asking us permission for doing that. Ideally, some experiments that we are I'm personally running it because I'm also a researcher and I'm very interested in this topic, but in principle this data can be used for several different activities, including at least this is a kind of final aim that we are trying to push to provide data for running national and international research evaluation exercises in order to make such activities more transparent and reproducible. And finally, just the last mention, the community are supporting Open Citations can be involved in the government, and I will spend just a few minutes at the very end in order to let you know how this can happen and how community stakeholders can be involved in the governance of Open Citation itself. What it is an independent infrastructure organization, as I said before, that provides open bibliographic and citation data, and of course it is also engaged in advocacy for Open Citation and open bibliographic metadata in general. Among the things that Open Citation provides, there are a data model that is used to describe all the data that Open Citation makes available. Several collections of data, of bibliographic and citation data. We will address one of those in today's workshop and presentation, which is COCI. That is basically the main set of data that we have. All the software that have been developed and will be developed for providing Open Citation service, to provide the technical infrastructure, all the services that we provide online for gathering citation data, bibliographic data, all these kind of things, all the software developed for doing this job is available in our GitHub repository. And it is released with open source licenses in order to allow anyone to reuse the software for any purpose again. And finally, we made available a series of online services, among which there are the REST APIs. Some of them are actually the subject of this presentation. Sparkle endpoints that are other kind of interfaces that allowing people with skills in semantic web technologies to do very complex query upon the dataset. And then all the data are also, let's say, visualizable by means of interfaces. And if you need to work on the full dump of this data, you can even download the full dump of the data locally on your machine in the favorite format. Usually we provide this data in 3 distinct formats. One is CSV, which is the most common one, I will say. Indeed, is also the most downloaded one. The other one is Scolex, which is a specific vocabulary that presents the same information by using JSON as a format. And the last format that we use is ntriple, which is a format, a semantic web related format. So these the dumps are available in any of these 3 formats from our website. Very few words about the data model. So the data model is actually a document that provides a full description of all the data that we are able to host in our space. The document is available on Figshare, and this is just a very brief, I don't want to spend a lot of time here, a very brief, let's say, graph that summarize the kind of entities we are handling within this data model. Citations in the left top part is, of course, the core one for what concerns what we provide, but also there are other kind of entities, including expressions, meaning bibliographic resources like journal articles, conference paper, journals, issues, volumes, these kind of things. People involved in the publishing domain and the roles of these people and also companies and organizations involved in the publishing domain, like publishers, and the role that they have in the context of a specific publication, and the identifiers for all these things and these kind of things. In addition to the actual data, we also keep track of the provenance information for each single entity that is added in our collection. Provenance information in this sense basically is to keep track about when that entity has been created, for instance, when that citation has been added in the collection, which was the source that we have used for getting the original data that allowed us to create that citation within our collection, and who was the agent responsible for the creation of that specific information. That could be either a software agent or in principle also a human adding and providing this information to the system. And we have also a bunch of Python libraries that have been developed in order to work with this data model within specific application software. And currently we have a huge, let's say, more than 8 billion triples, so more than 8 billion data about citations available in our main collection, which is COCI. The sources that we are using for retrieving all this data, depending on the collection, they may vary. The collection that that I will present today, which is one single collection within the Open Citation indexes, takes the main part of this citation information from Crossref, but we have also in place some crowdsourced mechanism that in principle will allow us to get new citation data from dumps, even small dumps that humans can make available online by means of Figshare and Zenodo. We are currently working in trying to including more sources within the data that we have, and we have the plan to start to work also on preprint repositories like Archive. We want to take data from DataCite, from iCite project by the National Institute of Health, from WikiCite, from Wikipedia, from Dryad. These are, let's say, the medium-term plan. We are planning to get all this new information, new citation in our collection in the next 2-3 years. About the data sets, the very first data set that we have created is named Open Citation Corpus. The most recent version of the dataset has been released in July 2016, and that contains 40 million citation links between a bit more than 7 million cited resources. Currently, it is used as a sandbox. It's where we test the new technologies that we introduce within our infrastructure, because the main index that we are using right now, the main collection that we are using right now, that is the most used by the community, is called OpenCitation indexes. It includes a series of different collections that more or less are interlinked among them, but the main one is named COCI, which stands for Open Citation Index of Crossref DOI to DOI Open Citations, and currently counts more than 759 million citations links between more than 60 million bibliographic entities. In addition to this collection, we are actually setting up new ones. There is one specific collection, as I already said, that we want to extend the indexes, but there is a new collection that is populated, we are populating right now, that is called Open Biomedical Citation in Context Corpus, which is a project that was funded by the Wellcome Trust, that contains not only citations, but also in-text citations. So where the citation happens within the content of a specific paper. So we are keeping track of all these in-text reference pointer and citation context, meaning sentences, paragraphs, sections, where the citation is happening, in considering just a subset of articles present in PubMed Central, and also a new collection that is called Open Citation Meta that will be launched in the following month, that will contain all the bibliographic metadata of all the entities involved in the citation links included in the Open Citation indexes. Just to focus on COCI, here in this slide, there are the links, the URL to accessing to information to the service about the REST API of COCI and the Sparkle endpoint. But I will focus the following part of this presentation on analyzing the REST API, which is the main mechanism that is used to access programmatically to citation information that we have available in Open Citations. So the COCI REST API makes available 6 different operations. I will say that the main ones are 3 of them that are named references, citations, and metadata. So the operation named references allow the user to specify a DOI of the resource we want to consider, and that operation returns citation data for all the outgoing references contained in the input DOI to other cited works. So ideally here, by using references, you get basically all the citation that defines the citation link between the citing entity specified by the DOI and all the other entities that have been cited, by including a bibliographic reference in the bibliographic reference list of the citing DOI that is specified as input. There is also a shortcut in order, if you want to get just the information about how many references that DOI has, you can use just another operation that is called reference count, that returns you only the number of references that specific article has according to the data that we have in our collection. Similarly, we have another operation that is called citations, where you can specify a DOI, and in this case, you gather back the citation data that constitute the incoming citations of the input DOI. So meaning that all the citation links that starts from other entities that cites the DOI specified as input. And as before, here you can use a shortcut if you are just interested to get the number, so the citation count of a given DOI. You can just use another operation that is called citation count, which works similar in a similar way to that one, but just return the number of citation that DOI received. And finally, the last operation that I would like to introduce you very quickly is metadata. Metadata allow you to specify one or more DOI, and to retrieve bibliographic metadata of each bibliographic entity identified by such DOIs. And this metadata include the basic metadata to define the entity. So let's say title, the authors, these kind of things. And in addition, of course, also information about the references that are cited by the entity identified by these DOIs, and also the citations that are received. So the DOI of the other works that cites the specific entity in consideration defined by the DOI specified as input of the API. Here I need to do a kind of clarification before showing you how the kind of results that these operations return to you. And this is strictly related to the way we are using and proposing for storing information about the citation within our system. So from a very general point of view, with citations, we mean directly the relation that exists between two entities where one entity, the citing entity, cites another entity. So in this context, the usual way to identify this relation is to define the citing article as a first-class data entity, the cited article as another first-class data entity, and then to link them by using a specific arrow, in this case, that is labeled, that means basically that citing article cites the cited article. So this is the usual way we think of when we consider citations, a relation between articles. In OpenCitations, we actually provided more importance to the relation itself. And that's why we decided to put the citation at the center of our collection. So the citation is not simply the link between a citing article to the cited article, but actually is an object per se. It's a first-class data entities that actually has a series of metadata associated, including metadata that are referring to what is the citing article and what is the cited article. But here the perspective is totally different. So every single result that you get from the API talks about the citation as a relation, okay, and is not about a citing article or a cited article. So for instance, I'm here providing a kind of screenshot of the particular metadata that we are storing for each single citation as it is provided by the API itself. So here, if you see, there is the first one is the creation date of the citation, which is the same, is coincident with the date of publication of the cited article. And then there is other information that are named author underscore SC and journal, the last one, underscore SC. That means if the citation is an author self-citation, meaning that there is at least one author in common between the citing article and the cited article, or if it is a journal self-citation, meaning that the citing article and cited article have been published within the same journal. Then the OCI is that these two numeric sequence separated by a dash are actually representing an unique identifiers for that specific citation within our collection. So you can refer directly to the citation itself. The time span is the distance in time between the date of publication of the citing article and the date of publication of the cited article, provided by using a specific format that is called duration. In this case, for instance, the time span is 2 years between the citing article and the cited article. And then there are, of course, the DOI of the citing entity and the cited entity. So you see how here the information are actually reorganized around the concept of having a citations as a first-class data entity, which is basically storing all the information that characterize the citation itself and not somehow the other entities involved in the citation. So having cleared this aspect, here there are some exemplar calls that you can run by using our services. The first is get all the citations that points to the DOI specified. The second operation is to return the number of citations, not the citations, but the number of citations to that DOI. And there is a similar operation for the references. The third operation here, get all the references that the DOI specified is doing to other works. And the last one is to get the metadata of that specific DOI. Here, it is important to clarify that since we are not currently hosting the metadata of the citing and cited entities, they are retrieved automatically by using on the fly, by using other existing services. And so usually this operation is a bit slower than the other one, since we have to get information by querying on the fly other services. Just to show you which kind of result, the API allow you to get back the result of your query in two distinct formats, JSON and CSV. I just show you very briefly here which kind of format that we provide. In JSON, you have something like that. So here I'm running the operation citations that return me the list of all the citation links where the DOI specified as input of the operation is actually the cited entity. So you see here that each single block of information has specified the same DOI as cited entity, and each single block between the brackets there actually refer to a single citation link. So this is just a cut of the results of that operation, but you can have exactly the same results expressed in another format like CSV. So they contains exactly the same information that you have in JSON, but it is organized in a more tabular form, okay, that allow you to be, for instance, open by using spreadsheet tools like, I don't know, Microsoft Excel, or OpenOffice document, spreadsheet, and these kind of things. Just to clarify that the APIs made available also have the possibility to apply some filters on the results, so you can just cut off some information that you don't need. For instance, if you are interested only the citation that a specific DOI have received in a specific year, you can just filter out all the information that you don't need by specifying specific, let's say, filters in the URL of the query. And all of this is actually documented in the REST API that are made available in the URL that I specified a few slides ago. So just before concluding, you should be able to see my screen, I think. I just want you to show the results that I've just computed before, just to be sure, of these four operations. So the citations, get the citation of that DOI, and this is the result that I have obtained that is shown in the browser. You can see it even raw data here. These are all the citations that are there that I've collected. The other operation was the citation number. So just get the number of citations, and this is returned, as you can see here, just got 9 citations. We have the same operation by trying to considering not the citation, but references of that specific DOI. And here I obtained all the citation links that have that DOI specified as citing of these citation links. And every time, every single citation, you have a different cited object, a different DOI defining the cited object. And finally, the information about the metadata here in JSON format. You see that there are a bunch of metadata here: title of the DOI specified, the authors with the ORCID if it is present in the sources that we use, all the DOIs of all the works that are cited by the DOI in consideration, the volume of the journal where that specific DOI has been published, all the citations that have been received by the DOI in consideration, the source title, so that the title of the venue that published this specific article, citation count, pages, the issue, the source ID, so the ID of the source, so of the venue, if needed, the DOI, of course, and the year of publication. So this is just a very quick introduction of all the operations, some of the operations that we have. Finally, just a few words about that. The API have been using several tools right now to provide additional services. Just to mention a few, there is DBLP, that is this bibliographic database of computer science publication that use OpenCitations API on the fly in order to get information about references and citations. The article in DBLP makes available, but also VOSviewer, developed by CWTS in Leiden by Nils Banek and Ludo Voltman, also use the API to create a beautiful visualization of the citation landscape here. And there are other tools that basically have adopted or the full dump of data, all the APIs to produce interesting application out of these services. A few words. We have been selected by SCOS in the second funding cycle that they provide. SCOS is an organization that actually provides support to not financial support, but actually visibility and advertisement support to open science infrastructure that deserve to be funded in order to guarantee long-term sustainability. We were selected at the end of 2019. And as such, we have opened up to a possible way that institutions may help OpenCitation to reach the goal of enriching the coverage of their services, to develop additional services and all these kind of things. And there are different ways to help OpenCitation financially. That is, or apply for a membership as an institution, or if the membership is not possible for different reason, sometimes legal reason, there is also the possibility to donate an amount to OpenCitations. If you apply for memberships, just to mention that you will be member of OpenCitation, and as such, you take direct part to the governance of the infrastructure itself. And that was the last thing I wanted to say here. I hope that this presentation, it is brief, but has provided you enough information to start to use OpenCitation for bibliometrics and scientometrics studies. I will provide all the links and also this presentation to the organizer of the conference there, in order to share all these links and information to all of you if you are interested in doing this and in working and in using this service for your studies. And that basically concludes my presentation. So thank you very much for your attention.